Welcome to Rena's Heartwork. Today I will read two poems, the first entitled Ouch, which is about the damage words can do. I will then delve into it a bit before following it up with a poem entitled One Step, which will give tips on how to overcome the damage of words. Thank you for joining me in this adventure. Ouch. They burn to my core, those words you use. Like a knife they peel my flesh away. More than a blow to my gut, they hurt to my core. So I'm asking you ever so kindly, next time, please, use a bat on me and hold your words. Believe it or not, the bat will hurt so much less. Getting hit by a bat, accidental or intentional, is going to do a little bit of damage. It might just be a bruise, or it could break a bone. Now when anybody breaks a bone, people are quick to help. They try to get you to the doctor, get it set, get a cast put on it, get you some medication for the pain, and do whatever they can to help it heal. However, many times, when the damage is caused by words, it's harder to understand the pain that could be caused because it cannot be seen. When anyone has a broken bone, everyone can see it. If it's in the leg, they see the crutches. If it's the arm, they see the cast. Now, over time, that bone will heal, and depending on where the break was, there could be issues with it further down the line. But all that needs to be done is to explain, oh, I broke my leg or my arm, and people understand what's going on. When words are used as a weapon, no one can see the damage that has been done. No one can see the damage that lasts and returns. As I was growing up, I was teased and picked on, which really isn't much more than most people go through. But I was also a very quiet child. And so I never said anything back. I never stood up for myself. I just accepted the words as being fact. And I also sometimes wonder if the fact that I could only hear so much kind of made it so that I heard what was being yelled at me more than what was being spoken to me. So that I heard when my parents would get upset with me and tell me I was too slow, and I would get in trouble for not paying attention. And at school, I would hear the kids, when they were specifically trying to talk to me and telling me that I was ugly or stupid, but I might not have been able to hear them when they were trying to be my friend. I did once ask a friend what it was like when I was in elementary school talking to me, and she had told me that she had to get right in my face. Not many kids will get in your face to be your friend. It could very well be that these kids tried to be my friend, couldn't understand why I ignored them, why I didn't interact with them, and so they started calling me names. It's a typical reaction for a lot of kids. Oh, you don't want to be my friend? You're stupid. You're ugly anyways. I don't want to be your friend either. But when kids are bullying and picking on kids, they're a lot louder. They yell at you. They don't just quietly call names. When I got my first hearing aid at 24 years old is when this all registered to me. Because all of a sudden I realized that other people could hear people talking behind them, and I had never been able to. So how many times in school did somebody try to talk to me, think that I was ignoring them, and then join the bullies in picking on me? When all I could hear was what the bullies were saying, I started repeating those words to myself. I started believing that I was stupid and ugly, because how else is everybody else knowing that we're getting ready to go to gym class or music class? Because I just lined up because the class lined up, and I followed them, and when we got to where we were going, that's how I knew where we were going. But since nobody understood how my hearing was working, nobody realized that I didn't always know where we were going. I'm sure many times a teacher would call on me and I just wouldn't answer, so it would be assumed that I did not know the answer, rather than I didn't know the question. It's really kind of interesting for me to think back and realize how many times I could hear all the negative words, but I didn't hear positive words. I could see the confused looks, but I didn't feel any encouragement. I even noticed that when I'm frustrated or upset, I speak louder. Therefore, I would be heard. So, it's common sense that that's everybody. For a child with hearing loss, that's all they hear then, is the criticism, the words of frustration that their parents have. Because they don't understand, there's more words they're not hearing. So all too often, we need to take the time to make sure our kind words are being heard, because the positive words have just as big of an effect on children as the negative words. It's what they hear that they're going to carry with them. So if they hear a lot of positive messages, that will overcome any negative messages they get. But if they hear more negative messages, then that outweighs the positive. Learning what it was like to hear has really opened my world. I stood in the hallway at work just listening to the conversation around me at 24 years old and saying, wow, this is how they do it. I could never figure out how people had these conversations in groups. I didn't know how to join the conversation because, and that one little revelation made me understand more about the bullies I dealt with and realized that many times they probably wanted to be friends but didn't understand that I could not. Right after the short message, I will be reading another poem entitled One Step. It will tell how I made it through all of the negative messages that had been fed into my mind and kept circulating for years to come. Please stay tuned, and we'll be right back. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They also have music clips you can use, so there's a lot of tools right there at your fingertips, free of charge. They will also distribute your podcast for you, so you'll be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast without a minimum number of listeners. So everything you need in one simple place to make your podcast. All you have to do is download your free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I mean, how hard is that? It's a free Anchor, that's Anchor, a free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. One step. Just one step is all it takes. One step closer, one step further. No need to run, jump, or leap. One step to change, one step to health. There's no rush, there's no hurry. Just a need to move forward at all times. Yet even a fall back only takes one step to change to a move forward. This time you will get further. You will succeed if you just keep taking one step. That poem many times is my mantra. Just one step. I have days that I focus on just making it through the minute. And I have days where I can take a bigger chunk of time and focus on making it through the day. But the one thing I always try to focus on is moving forward. I think everybody has good days and everybody has bad days. And when someone has a lot of negative self-speak, it gets harder. So sometimes I'll write positive speak on my bathroom mirror in Sharpie. Over time it'll get worn away, but it takes quite a while, so that gives me the time to see that positive message to myself every day. If it's as simple as "you are beautiful," then every day when I look in the mirror, I get that message that I am beautiful. Even on my bad days, when I see that message and I kind of roll my eyes, it reminds me that I am beautiful. And I can then fight the negative self-speak a little bit better. The more I work on my positive self-speak, the less I hear the negative self-speak. And I think that that's something that would work for everybody. But it takes a lot of perseverance and repetitiveness. But if you really think about it, your negative self-speak is very repetitive. It's these messages that you heard many times as a child, and they just keep playing in a loop in your head. And so you just have to record over those messages with positive self-speak. I can do it. I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I'm smart. You know, it takes effort to heal. It takes effort to overcome. It takes effort to survive. And surviving words can be harder because, as previously mentioned, no one can see the damage. So I make that effort and I tell myself that I'm beautiful. And when I have a bad day, I don't beat up myself about it. Tomorrow will be better. Right now, let's just get through this moment. The next hour will be better. Let's just get through this one. Life can deal some pretty complex challenges, and if I were to continuously beat myself down for a bad day, then how am I ever going to get through the next one? So I focus on the good days. Maybe it was a simple, goofy little day where I played hide and seek with my grandson, and I'm hiding behind the couch. And I can barely get off the floor, but now I've crawled behind the couch and now I have to figure out how to get out. You know, it was a silly day. It was a fun day with my grandson. And I focus that I had a good day, I had a good time, I had laughter, and there will be more in my future. Maybe I won't laugh this minute, but maybe in an hour, my son will do something goofy and make me laugh. Or maybe next week I'll see my grandson, and toddlers will always make you laugh. So I do my best to focus on every good day I can remember and know that there'll be another one in my future. I just have to make it through this moment, through this hard time. And there's nothing wrong with having a bad day. So don't beat myself up about it. Don't dwell on it forever. Let it go and move forward. Just always focus on moving forward. And then that is how I've gotten to where I'm at. With having DID, a lot of my parts are full of negative self-speak. And I can have days where I just can't find the positive. So if I have something written on the mirror, that helps. And I know that I have parts that always focus on the positive. So I have to wait for them to come forward again to help me out. But for now, I just need to get through this moment, and it will get better. And that's the message that I'm trying to share, is get through this moment, and it will get better. You laughed last week, you'll laugh next week. Just take it all one step at a time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Rena's Heartwork. Feel free to contact me with any comments, questions, or even suggestions at renasheartwork@gmail.com. That's RenasHeartwork@gmail.com. No spaces, no dashes, just letters. This is Rena from Rena's Heartwork. Consistently inconsistent, perfectly imperfect, and always kind.